Test, test, test.
Test, test. 1, 2. Can you hear me, man?
Yep.
Oh, so
You
it
coming
is.
through.
Yeah? Can you hear me, Christine?
I can.
Oh,
can
man.
hear you.
Off we go. ALTBAYS Show brought to you by ALTBAYS.nz. We are a media support company who runs cool shows like this one. So if you have an idea, if you want to do your own thing, if you want to run your own podcast, or I don't know, if you want to create some cool online content, get in touch with us, ALTBAYS.nz, and we will get you sorted. We live stream 3 times per week, every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. The video becomes available on YouTube as soon as it's done, and on the following day, it goes to all the main podcast platforms: Spotify, Apple Podcast, Google Podcast, Amazon Music, blah, 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 blah. All of them. Okay. We also have the ALTBAYS Clips, which is a channel where we break down the interviews and we turn them into short clips. So if you don't have time to enjoy a full show, you can go to ALTBAYS Clips and enjoy some snippets and see if you want or not to watch the whole thing. It's been a cool week. We had Kim Laurie on Monday from the Mercury Bay Environmental Trust. We had Brent and Larissa Macau on Wednesday from Tattoo Black Aotearoa, amazing tattoo artist. It was a pretty cool show. And tonight we have Mr. nzDan, who is an adult entertainer. And before we even start, let me tell you, you know when you're watching TV and it's in the morning and it says that the shows are for everybody, there's no restrictions? Cool. And then later on, some shows will be R18 or whatever. Yeah, guess what? This is the same. So on YouTube, there will be a R18 restriction, okay? Which means that this video will not be accessible by children. It is for adults, okay? Well, it's up to you if you wanna allow your children, your teenagers to enjoy. We're not stupid, okay? There's no explicit content or anything like that. We are here to talk to real people about real things. And we don't have any problems to talk to anyone. If you have a problem to talk to someone, you can choose not to, and that's the best you can do, okay? Keep your segregation and your prejudice for yourself, okay? Some people thought that this show was a platform to promote businesses. Bah, you got it wrong, man. When we choose to promote someone, it's because we believe in what they do. And if the people who come here, they run businesses, it doesn't mean that this is a platform to promote their business. This is a place to have conversations. We will talk about their businesses, obviously, but I think there was a little bit of a misunderstanding, which I appreciate, which means that our show is creating value for itself. People are coming up with expectations for what we do. But I'll tell you right now, this is a place to have real chats, okay? You're welcome to join our live chats if you have questions, if you have comments, okay? We're open for opinions. That's what we're here for. Hi, Christine.
Hello. Hello. Hello.
So cool that you're here tonight.
Thank you. I was actually excited about the show. I wanted to talk about or ask questions. I've got my own questions, but at the same time I'm more excited for the questions.
For starting your own OnlyFans?
Yeah, actually.
Oh, man, already here, Bo, in the game.
Funny you say that.
We'll talk after, right?
Actually, there's the Real Housewives of Matarangi, and if you're watching, you know who you are.
New Zealand is getting
I'll ask some
expensive.
questions.
You got to get an extra income.
Yes.
Before I take you to the boss here tonight, I just wanted to ask you about your new creations with drinks because...
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes?
Yeah.
Oh,
so,
yes.
We are trying a new cocktail at Piper's Cafe in Matarangi. It's called Sex in the Driveway. Ooh, ooh. Yeah, so happy hour is happening right now. So go and get a drink.
It might be live streaming there right now on the big TV. You never know. Maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe not. You can watch
Nothing
it later.
wrong with having your phone out and AirPods in.
There you go. Cool. Good drink. Yummy, 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 yummy.
It
yummy.
is, yeah. It's very strong. Very strong.
Nice.
We did troll a few too many last night, but it was very strong.
Blue drink, right?
It's blue, yeah. It's pretty... It tastes nice, though.
Nice. That's good to hear. nzDan, my bro, having a sip of his beer.
getting into it, getting warmed up. It's gonna be a big night.
Thanks for coming, man.
Hey, I really wanted to come and check out your setup, you know, because this is something that, you know, I'm always looking into cameras, looking into microphones, and, you know, when I saw your setup, I was like, whoa, you know, I've never seen, you know, just not that many people in New Zealand are getting into it. And yeah, I really, I thought this was awesome, and I had to come and see it for myself.
We really appreciate that you made it our
You think
way.
about hiring the space?
For a shoot? Yeah, we were talking about that.
Man, we're open for negotiations, brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. You know, you never know. We can talk business after the show. Dan, the thing is, man, when we put the poster out, when we told the people who follow our page, because that's the thing, right? We put it on a lot of pages that everyone can access, but we mainly put on our pages.
Yeah.
I got so many cool comments. I got like so many cool friends and people close to me saying, nice, kudos, you know, like the elephants in the room, fuck that.
They're very open-minded.
Have a conversation, you know, like listen to people and see where they're coming from, you know, because I think a lot of people do dodgy stuff behind the curtains, and you know, I think that's a problem for me. You know, when you're coming from a place that you're actually being clear about what you do, I respect that, you know, and I don't have a problem talking to anyone.
Yeah.
But just to start there, you know, why do you think people feel me or Christine or anyone having a conversation like, or like having you in the show? Like, do you bite or do you charge to bite? Like,
apparently I do, you know. There are some people out there saying some really crazy things about me, like, you know. But, you know, I've kind of put on, I've kind of created this online persona, you know, to kind of like get up views, get up sales, and you know, there's a lot of people out there who just really believe it, and you know, not that I, you know, convey myself in necessarily a bad way, but there are just people who take things a little bit too far, and will just assume the worst. They'll kind of like believe rumors, or, you know, like somebody will say something and then all of a sudden they take it as like the gospel truth, you know what I mean? And part of the reason why I did come on the show was so people can kind of like hear things from me. They can kind of just get to know me a little bit, and see that I am a guy that doesn't actually bite.
ah, damn! I had expectations.
We just lost a few viewers there. I'm sorry about that.
Stay on, people.
Yeah.
It's only getting better from here.
Yeah, once I finish this beer and get into that whiskey.
Ooh, shit.
I'll.
What do you do, bro? For the people who just tuned in, clicked on our page because they always do, and they actually didn't check what we're doing here tonight. What's your thing? I know that you do a different some different things. You have a background in health, and you're a sports person, masseur, and then you got into adult content. And can you just take us through a little bit of who nzDan is?
Whoa, yeah. So, where do I start? Like, sometimes every time I meet somebody for the first time and they ask me, "What's your name?" It's like, oh, what name do I introduce? What name do I introduce myself as to this person? But no.
Can we call you Dan, or you want us to call you?
No. Dan, cool. Dan is fine. I've always been like a content creator, you know, like I was in the fitness industry, and you know, I had to create little videos for, you know, to show what I do, with like YouTube and stuff. I had a YouTube channel. Well, I still got a YouTube channel that I got up to like 22,000 subscribers, and I was starting to really get into it. This is back when cameras and stuff were really bad, but then I just I ditched it. So I've always been into like content creation, YouTube, tube sites. And then, I stepped over into the adult scene, and that's how I got into content creation, but for, you know, the adult industry.
Was it because you were because you always enjoyed watching it and you know, connecting with it, or was a money thing? You were like, fuck, I'm broke, and might as well do something.
Yeah. I've
Well.
always, hey, like many guys, I've always like thought about it. You know what I mean? Like, you know, there's a lot of guys out there. Hey, oh, it would be cool to get into the adult stuff. You know, that would be cool, but then nobody ever takes action or does anything. And I was one of those guys. But it wasn't until like, you know, when COVID like really hit, and I was like, well, I just bought a $60,000 van. I need to pay this van off
because you just to make sure that I got it right.
Yeah.
You had kind of like a little studio. You still have it, right? Like a little studio, or like a massage. Is that kind of what it was? Like you set up in a way that you could do massage, or not really?
I said, okay, so that was just a sales thing, really. That was just like what I told people. I just told people, oh yeah, I got this van,
Yeah.
and I got it just to do this. But no, the van, I originally got that van as like a full camper van, you know, like potentially to even stay in, to live in,
Yeah.
because like a tiny home, yeah. Because back then I wasn't making much money, and I was like, whoa, you know, everything's so expensive, and I was like, shit, okay, I'll get this van, and then all of a sudden I started making money, so then I just sold people on the idea that I got this van for shoots. So the van I didn't get that van to do shoots. That wasn't the real reason.
It was a byproduct.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of like,
You conveniently had a van for shoots.
and then I was like, okay, this is now a porn van. And people all over New Zealand were like, this guy actually bought a porn van. So that was just like, you know, this whole, and then it kind of just fit with my persona, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just created this crazy character, and people just bought into it. They believed it, and it was all just, you know, I needed the money, so I kind of went through with it, you know. A $60,000 van isn't going to pay for itself.
That's right.
Plus, like another $20,000 worth of materials that went into it, and you know, yeah, it is quite, it was quite costly, and I was sitting. I mean, you know, we were in lockdown. I was in Australia at the time, doing some massage work over there, and we, like, you know, Jacinda, our queen, announced that, you know, we all gonna have to stay home, and I was just, you know, like, and you know, came back to New Zealand. I came back to New Zealand, went straight into lockdown, literally like before that very first lockdown. Yeah, like pretty much a week before that first lockdown is when I came back, and you know, we can't go. Nobody can go outside or can go outside for walks, and I was just sitting there, and I had content. And I was like, you know, I'm going to have to just do something. I'm just going to have to create something. And it was at that stage, it was 2020, when things like OnlyFans and, you know, these pay sites and stuff were starting to kind of take off, you know. They were already, before COVID, it was already taking off. But COVID kind of really just propelled it, launched it.
Right. Man, I kind of know, and I'm not even like lying or just playing ignorant here. I actually don't know. Like, I understand what OnlyFans is, but like, is it a platform where you can simply engage with someone like in a more personal level, or it's more like sexual content oriented? Like
OnlyFans. So the reason why OnlyFans has such a big name is because they tried not to market themselves for as like for only porn or sex workers or whatever. They try to, everyone knows about OnlyFans, but there's actually many other platforms out there, and in my opinion, there are better platforms than OnlyFans out there. However, OnlyFans is, you know, the most well known, and that is because their marketing was so good, and they market themselves as a pay, like kind of like an Instagram where people can kind of like subscribe to, but it's like a paywall, right? So they kind of for creators, so they kind of market themselves as a paywall platform, but for, you know, content creators, and so they had like they would always like advertise, oh, fitness people are using our platform, you know, like now like celebrities are using it, and they try and show that they don't show that the majority of the users are adult content creators.
Right.
So ultimately, adult content creators are the one bringing in the money for their platform, but they don't show that. So because they don't want to get, I guess you can say, pushed off like mainstream, like Facebook and stuff like that. They don't want to get pushed off those platforms for being known for being only adult content. Like there are platforms like OnlyFans out there who pretty much only really cater towards adult content producers who in my opinion are actually better than OnlyFans.
Right.
They just got more features and they're more acceptable. Like there's a lot of stuff now that you really just can't do on OnlyFans. Like you can't even do like public like not public, but I mean like you can't do any sort of like outdoor sort of like nudity, even if it's like even if there's nobody around.
Like, even if it's in your garden, can you do it?
I think if it's like in your backyard, you can. But I mean, like if you're in a beach, if you're on the 90-mile beach and you're topless, they probably won't allow that. But yeah, that's what basically what. Yeah, so they're very strict. OnlyFans is very strict, and that's why I don't like the platform. But you know, when people ask, you know, when I try and explain something to somebody, because everybody knows the name OnlyFans, I normally just say, "Oh, I do something similar to OnlyFans," and then they kind of like, "Oh, okay." But yeah, that's basically what OnlyFans is. It's basically a way for content creators, mostly adult content creators, to make money and put their content behind a paywall.
Right. So any kind of content.
Yeah, and I mean, like with YouTube, and this is something that I'm surprised you don't have a Patreon. Like a lot of YouTubers and podcasters have set up Patreons, and I'm sure you've probably looked into something like that.
I'll tell you what, man. There's a thing with how you operate with your subscribers.
Yeah.
So, for example, now we reached 1,000 subscribers on YouTube.
Which, that's a big achievement because getting your first 1,000, and it's kind of like it starts going downhill from there.
That's when you can monetize on YouTube. That's when they start to put little ads. You know, if you don't have a premium account,
it opens a lot of options.
Yes, but the thing is, they also give you an option to monetize through them. So like we can actually activate a little sign where people can, but I'll tell you,
they never had that.
They never had it, but I'll tell you the catch. The thing is, can I explain that, Taylor? When you, of course, because it's open source, obviously, of course I can. Once you sign up with YouTube to do that, they take a cut, obviously.
What's the cut?
I think it's 30%.
It's a little bit higher, but
more than that,
they're gonna offer more features.
More than that is they have the details of your supporters.
Oh.
Yeah. So it doesn't belong to us. Okay. So if we open that, if we do that, it means that we will get some money because we know that there are people around us and friends who say like, how do we support? Like we know that they're keen to give a little, you know, to make this grow. But like we're just making sure that we navigate it properly because if we can find a way that we create our own platform to monetize, or we find another platform that take less of the cut and we can still have the data wherever we go, we have our subscribers with us. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Another thing to take into consideration, and this is why OnlyFans works so well for a lot of people as well, is because people they will buy from a platform that they trust. So you may find that a lot of people are more likely going to trust YouTube than they're going to trust any other platform.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you start telling people, oh, you on OnlyFans or whatever for your extended content,
yes.
Then or your membership only content like Patreon, they may not like Patreon, but they may like YouTube and they'll trust YouTube and they'll spend their money on YouTube.
Right.
Yeah, so and especially that's a big thing with the adult industry is that people like the majority of people now starting to trust OnlyFans. I mean, I'm talking about like just people who buy content, right? Mm-hmm. So they're not going to go onto like some
random
adult website. You know, I was gonna drop some names of
put the context. No, I know.
But of like an actual porn website who's kind of set up their own payment platform. They're not going to trust putting the credit card details into there because then next thing they worried, someone's
hacked you.
Yeah, or like the cards have been stolen, or they know, you know, but they know, okay, OnlyFans is like a big platform. They can kind of trust this platform.
Yeah. Can you say how much obviously OnlyFans will take a percentage, right?
Yeah, they take 20%.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Is it how is your audience like? Man, do you have those numbers? Male, female?
I have a pretty good idea.
Yep.
Because I set up on my website normally everybody's really like, once basically people go through OnlyFans is kind of like the middleman, right? So the creators, they don't know who the audience is. Yeah. They don't know nothing about them, because people just use like all these types of numbers for names or whatever, you know what I mean? So, but what I did was I set up like a survey form just on my website, and it basically just asked them like questions like, basically I just said, hey, I'll give you extra content if you complete this form. And I've had like 1,000 entries into the into the survey form now.
Wow.
And it's basically asked them. I'll ask them like their name, but obviously people putting face names and their email, whatever. But what it asks them is like, their age, where they're from, where they're based, what kind of content they want to see.
Yep.
And at the end of the form, it asks them, just to leave a comment, just their thoughts. And yeah, so most people subscribing to me are, most of them are younger than me, like 80% of them are like younger than me. They're young guys.
How old are you, bro?
I'm 33.
Are you? I'm 33.
Are you also 33?
Fuck, I'm looking so bad. I'm looking at Dan. I'm like, shit.
Yeah,
You're looking great, brother.
Thank you. Yeah.
Good job. So younger people.
Most of them, mostly younger guys who want to potentially see somebody that they think that they're gonna know in the content. They're hoping they can see.
Hey, if they're
the girl
watching,
that they
it's
used
a
to go to
bonus
school
for
with.
you. Yeah, it's a bonus for you. They're watching.
What are some of the comments, like some of the things that they ask for?
Yeah, they positive. What are they?
Whoa, it's crazy.
It's
like
past 7:27. Time to drop some bombs, man. What
Yeah.
do they ask for?
Yeah.
Man, like some
more
stuff.
polygirls. They just want to see more polygirls, Polynesian.
Ah.
Yeah.
Right.
No, Polynesian,
Interesting.
Maori girls.
Yeah.
But a lot of the comments are, they are always saying, they're always just saying, great job with the, so many of them are. It's crazy just how many people are out there now in New Zealand who are just like, do things like, my work is so amazing. It's so amazing. It wasn't until like actually went out into the city and people like started recognizing me, and just young guys who are just like open-minded, open about it. Like, you know what I mean? There's a lot of people who are going to be like, oh, we don't want him to know that, we watch him online, watch his adult content online. But there's a lot of young guys who are just like, that's so cool, that's awesome, and yeah.
Do you remember? Do you want to ask a
I was
question?
just
You were
gonna say
waiting
it's
to
pretty
ask.
cool that you've got positive feedback out and about.
Yeah,
Because it could easily just go negative. The
Oh,
whole
I mean,
time.
there are a lot of negative people out there.
We know that.
Yeah,
We know
there's a
that.
Bet you they're
lot of
watching.
negative. But it's quite funny because a lot of them also subscribe to me, and they subscribe to me to see if I'm doing something wrong, and it's just more money in the bank.
Do you remember? Do you remember? How was the first experience? How was the day that you said I'm gonna do this, and you set it up?
Whoa.
For the first recording, for the first shooting.
Well, yeah. So going really putting my. I used to kind of to begin with. I kind of put out feeler I made channels, and I kind of just put out little clips and stuff. Not
Of
with my face.
yourself? Oh,
with girls and stuff, made with little clip videos with girls and stuff. That just all of a sudden got so much views. I was surprised. And basically I wasn't sure, so there's been so many times where I actually deleted my own channel, my own porno account.
Nice.
And it wasn't until when COVID hit when I decided, okay, I don't care what people think or say, I'm just gonna go all in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And
That's
then
what she said. Sorry, carry on. I was waiting for that the whole night.
So, yeah, yeah, it was a big decision. It was a big decision to kind of like to just kind of put myself out there, you know, because like there's a lot of people who are out there who are really like, oh, should I start like an OnlyFans, or should I do this or not? And I see the way you look at Taylor. Is he thinking of a
No. He's the thermometer. He's like, we're good. YouTube hasn't taken us down yet.
No,
Carry
he's
on.
gonna start a tradies one.
yeah. Hey, that'll get some views. That'll get some hits.
Taylor, I'll give you some hits.
Yeah, man, that's the main idea. We bought it here to get some tips, you know.
Well, where were we? So so like a lot of people out there, you know, who contemplated it. I contemplated it for like a year.
That's good. Just a bit closer. Yeah. Right. Okay.
I contemplate. Just like everybody thinks I'm just this guy who was just like so naturally just pulled his dick out and started having fun on camera and you know. But no, I thought about this. I thought about this a lot.
Do you think that's what makes someone in the industry more successful? Is that they actually put thought into it, not just whipped it out like you said?
Well, you have to put a lot of thought into this business. Like, there's a lot of guys out there who message me all the time. You know, I could probably sell a course on this and people will actually buy it, because I just get asked so much like, you know, how to get into the business. And people think like it's all just about having sex with girls. That's, you know, they think that's what this job is. It's just, and that's all that there is to it. But, you know, as you know, a creator yourself, you know, you know, there's a lot of, you know, you got to create content, you got to edit, you got to, you know, videos, social media pages that you got to set up. And ultimately having fun with girls is like 1% of the job or less than 1% of the job, you know. If all you want to do is just, you know, have sex with girls, then you're not going to get very far, because after you've kind of had your little release, you're not going to want to go and edit things and set up social media pages and all of that. Yeah.
Are there big video porn productions in the country? Like, are
in New Zealand?
Yeah,
no,
it's
non-existent.
Really, man?
It's non-existent.
Wow.
I'm the only one.
Hey,
Oh, there we go.
exclusive. Okay.
Yeah, we do have a lot of young ladies who sell their own content. You know, just like they got to set up in OnlyFans. They sell, maybe they don't do full nudes or whatever, but you know, there's a lot out there who just do it with their partner, and or do it with, you know, their friend who also has an OnlyFans, girl on girl stuff, just like light stuff. But I'm the only one, and I can confidently say this, I'm the only one in all of New Zealand that creates the hardcore stuff. There will be some girls out there who creates maybe some hardcore stuff with their partner, but you know, that doesn't really count. It's their partner.
So how is the like the agreement part? Like how, because as you're saying, you're doing a business out of it. So I'm sure you go like, I'm not sure, but like, do you run like contracts? And then you talk about the consents, and then you explain like you.
Yeah,
talk,
so I have a simple, I have a simple little agreement form. It's I mean, there isn't a hell of a lot to it. You know, it's like, do you consent to being naked? It's basically saying, you know, do you consent to being uploaded to the platforms? And you know, do you consent to being filmed, ultimately, in a pornographic shoot and the content being sold? So yeah, that is a big topic there, because a lot of girls, they will, you know, to them it sounds all great, and then they do it, and then they go home and they have a think about it, and then they regret the decision.
right.
Right. So that is like, whoa, that's a big one. Yeah.
I was thinking about that, you know, like how the level of professionalism that you have to do that kind of stuff, you know, because for us here, it's already something to explain to people that they're signing for their voice and for their image to be on YouTube for a conversation. So I imagine when it goes deeper, it gets
I've met up with girls who were so comfortable with meeting up with me, getting sexual and being on video. Like, I never thought that I would have an issue with them later down the track. And, you know, it's just, I don't know, maybe they go home and they'll tell, like, a friend, or they get a boyfriend, and then all of a sudden they just get all upset about having done, you know, the pornographic content. And then all of a sudden they'll start wanting to change their mind. But at this point, I've already paid them, come out, got all my equipment out, done the editing, you know, all of that type of work. And they never think about that. They only think about themselves, you know. And then they just want to kind of like throw the blame on you.
Right.
You know, you're the guy who's kind of got a porn up channel. So it's easy just to kind of throw the blame on a guy who's naked.
Right. Yeah, I guess I'm just wondering about like the regulations and how you go about those things, because it's, from what you're saying, I don't understand how the industry goes. That's why I'm asking. You know,
do you have a lawyer that help you write up something to make it all like legit, or you just wrote it up yourself?
Consent forms.
There are a lot of there are actually a lot of, like, I mean, all you have to do really is so basically, like, even OnlyFans provides their own model release form. And you know, different websites, different platforms have like what they recommend you use. And I've looked at them, and I've basically just adjusted them and taken out what I've wanted, and went from there.
Well, and when you give something for someone to sign, they have the freedom to take that, analyze, you know, check with someone if they want to, and, you know, tell you if they're going to do it or not, right? I think that's what a contract means, right? You're giving someone the opportunity to read and see what they think.
Yeah,
I get that.
In addition to that, I mean, the girls, you know, I meet them all online, ultimately. And, you know, there's that whole, they get the opportunity to kind of just really have a think about it before even meeting me. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, I was wondering about how you choose, how you go about finding.
Would it be mostly them reaching out to you? Or a bit of both?
It's a combination. That's the biggest secret. I wouldn't say the biggest secret. That's the most frequently asked question. Like, every guy wants to know, how do you find the girls? Are they escorts? Are they prostitutes? And they're not. They, you know, I have hired, like, you know, girls who do it for money. Like, maybe 20% of the girls, like, most of the girls really are just normal girls who have been curious about it, or so they're not actually like prostitutes, or
right.
You know, there's a lot of rumors going out there that people say, nzDan only gets hookers or prostitutes on his videos, or, like, you know, it's just people being haters. You know what I mean? But no, they're real girls, and that's partly why I've kind of had so much exposure and, like, you know, I guess you can say blown up a little bit in New Zealand, is because people have seen a girl who they've actually gone to school with, or like who they may know personally, or like I've had some girls who are quite who've got a big, like, social circle, and, you know, it's kind of I guess that's kind of gotten me quite a bit of exposure,
right?
When the girl is somebody, I guess you can say.
Do you still have people reaching out for the massage part?
Yeah, actually, yeah. In the last week, I've had a few, but it's not even like something I offer anymore. I mean, I only really did it for like a year and a half at the most. But it's not like, my online stuff just made me so much money that I just couldn't be bothered arranging massage sessions. You know what I mean? I couldn't be, because I mean, it's like the only place that I would really have to do it is my van at this point. Previously, I had in a studio apartment, but at the moment, and then I got to set up the table in the van, and then there's not that much space. So no, I don't really do much massage sessions. I don't offer much massage. I get asked for it, but I set my price super high, so that
so they're like, nah, it's too expensive.
Yeah. I try and scare them away with the super high price, but yeah, no, not too much massage. I've got plenty of money coming in through online that it's like one day when I do buy a nice apartment, I will have a room like dedicated for it. Then it'll be easy. Then it'll be easy just to get people to come in, and then I don't have to kind of like set everything up. It's already pre-set up.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at some point, at a later date, I will kind of make it bring my price, make it reasonable.
when you say like that you are a producer, so do you see potential? Like, do you see yourself actually making a big business out of it, where you can actually run a team, and having these guys that say that they want to be the porns, and then you looking after all the main parts, and they can just go and be actors? What do you envision something
I
bigger?
get so many guys ask me about that, and I don't think I will take it. I don't think I will take it that far. And also because I don't really see the potential in New Zealand, to be honest, because everybody here is so conservative that it's just too much. It'll just be too much. It's a lot of work. It is a bit of work finding, or coming across schools who are comfortable with, the adult content, and I can handle it, single-handedly, or maybe if I had an additional person, but I really don't want to, like, I've had so many people offer, I'll do this editing for you, I'll do that for you, but it's like I would never give my content unedited raw or trust somebody with it, because like the content is so sensitive, right? Like it's girls in full on intercourse, and it's like anything something could go wrong. I don't know, maybe that person's computer gets stolen. I even had I was burgled a couple of months ago. I had my whole setup stolen, but like my computers are heavily encrypted, nobody can get in, so like I'm safe in that way. My content is, but what I mean is like I don't trust giving my content to anybody else to work with. You know what I mean? The content is just too sensitive, and but other than that, setting up a studio, nah, I don't know. I'm already wanting to go back into my fitness side, and maybe, like I was telling you before, maybe even setting up I wanted to set up like a fitness channel, go back to setting that up, and having and maybe doing some podcasting myself.
There you go.
And it'll still indirectly drive sales to my current business, but yeah, no, I don't know. That's a hard question for me to answer right on the spot.
Well, here we are, man. Do you want to say something, Taylor?
So then the porn for you would be like what the New Zealand people do. They go to Australia to mine, make their money, then come back, buy a house, go to their business that they want to, or are you just like trying to mine money and build something else, or?
Yeah, I'm actually still undecided on it, to be honest. I will continue, to get girls in New Zealand for more productions going forward. I've already made a start to going overseas and meeting girls, in other places. And part of the reason why I'm doing that is because in New Zealand, like it's too, like girls, like as I was saying before, once the content gets out there, if somebody else take a screenshot and like share it around, then the girls, they get really upset about it.
Yeah.
And then they want to kind of start blaming me for that. And it's very hard to come by girls who are, it's porn.
Yeah.
It's very hard to come by girls who will who would do porn and just be completely comfortable with it. So yeah, in that regard, I don't have too much faith in New Zealand. But it's like how people say, if New Zealand legalized marijuana and exported it, they'll make so much money. It's kind of like that with porn, I guess you can say. Like if it was acceptable, and they produce it, so much more money could come into the economy.
It is legal though, eh?
It is.
I mean,
right?
yeah, no, I mean,
I got your point.
like,
I got your point.
But I mean, like, accept it. What I mean is like,
Accept.
yeah.
So in talking about that, like it being accepted, what are your relationships like with friends and family, and like what do they think about what you
Oh,
do?
so
Like, obviously,
my
you're not going to
friends-
catch your auntie watching any content, but are they?
I'm pretty sure
Happy for you?
everybody's aware of it.
Yeah,
And you like, are you in touch with family? Are you like, do you have a good relationship?
yeah. Are they all
With
happy
family?
with what you do, or like, you know, as
No.
long as you're happy?
Honesty is
I've-
good, bro.
No, like my parents, for example, are more traditional.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So definitely not.
Yeah,
But like, you know, the younger, you know, like I've got friends and stuff, and brother. Oh well, I won't talk about them because they kind of got mixed opinions about it. But,
Don't drop
Yeah,
drop
that's all
names,
good.
brother.
No. I mean, they got mixed opinions about what I do.
yeah.
But you know, it's not like a problem to them, or I mean, they don't mind. But like, you know, I've got a lot of friends who are kind of like they're cool with it. I mean, everybody jokes about it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, yeah, everybody, like, they're always messaging me and saying, "Oh my God, this guy at work, we were talking about nzDan," and yes, it always turns into like a big joke for them in their workplace and stuff.
Do you
like
think?
Yeah.
Do you think your parents are not a big fan of what you do because they don't find like there is a
They don't
big
really
path,
know much about it.
or it's more about the image that they will carry? You know, like, do you think it's more about them? It's like a projection, or they actually feel that like you shouldn't?
Oh,
be
I
doing
mean,
it?
hey, my dad is one of those guys, and this is hard to believe, but never watched porn. He's like one of those dudes.
That's
Like,
what you
he's
think.
Nah, like I know, like, you know, I know. He's just like
Straight and
anti.
narrow, fella.
He's just like anti. He's just anti-adult content, adult. Yeah, I mean, that's just like some people are just like that, right?
Yeah. Were you brought up religious? You and your family?
We aren't like religious, but I mean, like he's like, we got like relatives and stuff. A lot of relatives, extended family, and all that, who are very, you know, religious, I guess you can say.
Right.
who've been brought up by it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, yeah.
Do you talk to them? To mom and dad? Or it's kind of
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah. No.
It's all good.
No, we
No.
yeah. No, we cool. We
Are
cool.
they watching this tonight? Like, are they watching?
No.
No.
They said
Just
to me,
in case.
no, they said to me, don't go cause any trouble in
in the Coromandel.
yeah, wherever you're going, you know, we didn't, yeah.
Oh man, you know, I get it, you know, like their sides, you know, like I think it takes a little bit of time and it wouldn't be easy, especially because you said that they're not that open-minded, you know. So I'm not saying that I agree or disagree, but like you can see from the perspective of a Christine, would you agree, or no? You think it's just different people have different?
I mean, some people.
Yeah, I don't know. Just different people have different opinions. I mean, I feel like I'm pretty open-minded, and
Do you remember your first experiences with pornography? Like, do you remember how old you were when you saw like a magazine of a naked woman or something like that, or a video? Do you have those
back
memories?
in those, like, as you know, back in those days,
back in the days,
back in those days, you would wait 5 minutes for a pixelated 480p or 360 or 240p resolution video to pop up, and it'll last maybe a minute and a half.
yeah.
Yeah, so those are my experiences to begin with.
Was it like were magazines a thing in New Zealand, like porn magazines?
I think we have all had a friend who's got a dad with a stash of porn magazines, and we'd all.
Man, I remember. I think I was 12, and it was very common in Brazil to have this little. I don't even know how to explain, but like this, like cubicle, like food, like they would sell like newspapers, you know,
like a stand. I was
like a
where
stand.
Are you going with this
Yeah.
cubicle? What are you doing?
Oh,
in this
you know
cubicle?
what I mean? This tiny thing that sells magazines.
But they don't
whatever.
have like the plastic wrap over it, right?
But that's the thing. But
yeah.
there's the thing. So our bro Ricardo, his father used to run one, and then he would bring the magazines, and we would sit around the table, and he would like slowly unseal the plastic, and he would like, no one touches. So he was the only one allowed to show us the pages of the chicks, and everybody was like, oh shit, look at it. And then he would close it very like, you know, carefully put it back. And he had this technique with using a match. So he would burn it to seal it back up. So like the mission was more exciting to see him sealing the paper than actually the magazine.
How old were you?
Oh, young. Maybe like 13.
Oh yeah.
14. But like my first experience with coming across was a lady who was very popular in a TV show in Brazil. She would dress up like with a mask, and she would have like a whip, you know, and it was a competition thing because Brazil, man, like sex, it's on your face all the time, every time, you know, like
what
on
do you
the
mean
TV.
on your face?
Like so all the shows.
In your face.
In your
Not
face.
sex
Sorry,
on his face.
not sitting on your face when you're a child, like in your face. All the shows in the afternoon, they have these dancers, but like they are half naked, you know, like so as a
What's that
child.
Brazilian dance called?
Samba?
Samba, yeah.
Yeah, so like even carnival, like when you see carnival, like people don't have clothes, like and that's fine, like it's cultural, but like it really gets to your brain as a very normal.
They're very open-minded over there. Hey?
Yeah, I think you can say that. I'm not saying that it's great, you know, because being open-minded doesn't mean that you're being educated about something.
Yeah.
You know, like so it's very common to see guys and even girls, like I don't want to give all the shit to guys, but like there's this idea of being like rough, being the macho, being like, you know, like, and
I've heard that about Brazil.
yeah, you know, so that's the thing, like sometimes it feels like you have to be out of that scene to see things more clearly, you know, like, so I changed my mind a lot when I was traveling and relating to people from other countries, and then you understand that the upbringing counts a lot when it comes to dealing with your own sexuality and all that stuff, you know. But where I was going with this story is like the lady, so it was a competition, it was a show that it was like that group against that group, blah, blah, blah. And the winners would get a dance from her, and then she was on the cover of Playboy. And I remember asking my mom, and I think I was like 12 maybe, and I remember I said, oh mom, and she was like, yeah, whatever. I think like my parents always had this thing with like, if you're gonna do something, you might as well do it at home. It's better if we know what's going on, you know, like it was like, well, I was listening to a band that I'm still a big fan, and they would swear. And then I think probably they said like the C word, you know, like a pussy or whatever. And I was very young singing. And then I remember my mom coming to me and saying, come here. Do you know what he said? Did you understand what the guy? And I was like, no. And then she pointed down, like, how embarrassing is that for a child, right? She was
How
like,
old were you?
That was even earlier,
Younger.
maybe like 9,
Jeez.
8, 9. But you know, like just being straight up about things, you know, like.
Well, that doesn't change much nowadays, with all this pop music like Nicki Minaj or whatever it is. It's pretty much very explicit as well.
Do you have to navigate that, Christine, or not yet?
I feel like this is an unpopular opinion, but I let my kids swear and whatnot in the car listening to music, because if they're not going to be in my car swearing and listening to music, they're going to say the word somewhere else, but they're pretty good. So I can make it like, you can sing it if the song's on, you can say all the words, if you know all the lyrics, you do it, but when we get out of the car, I don't want to hear it.
What type of music?
Anything. Nicki Minaj, Cardi B, everything. Full explicit. I let them listen to it because they're going to hear it eventually. It might as well be from me. And I don't hear them swear outside of the car, so...
Hey, you know, there's this, like, belief that you should just keep, like, children so protected from everything. And that's going to be, like, the best option for them. But, you know, that hasn't always been the case, you know what I mean? Yeah. There's been a lot of people who've grown up around, you know, explicit things, and they've turned out perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm no kid expert or anything like that. You know, I'm not gonna, you know, just an observation.
And the thing with the explicit content, because I was talking to Taylor the other day about that, and we were like, you know, but these songs, you know, like they are out there, they're part of the culture, you know, like even when you go on social media, you know, like sometimes you see people dancing or like very like sensual. Like you cannot show the nipple. The nipple is like, oh, not the nipple. But like anything else is fine, you know, like, but then you start to see from the other side is like, it's because it's a quite oppressed society, you know, like people make it so hard to talk about the subject that of course everything that goes around it, it's fine.
Yeah.
You know, like, so that's why all these songs and everything is so popular. Because if it was okay, if we didn't
I
make
wouldn't
a
be
big
making any money. I'll be out of business.
Yeah, exactly.
but exactly, isn't it? But isn't it how is it? Yeah,
It has
interesting how it
changed.
goes.
So many people are not okay with it. Like from the words to the video clips to, I mean, even what you like, what you do is the most extreme. But people are so shut off by sex.
Yeah, I wouldn't say what I do is, I guess you can say, the most extreme. Like my content, even in like the porn realm, is considered to be quite vanilla.
Vanilla.
It's considered to be
Vanilla.
quite like tame. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I have no intention of ever getting into anything like super kinky or, you know, BDSM stuff or, you know what I mean? Like,
Yep.
there is a lot of like extreme porn out there, and I mean I keep my stuff all just quite normal. You know what I mean?
Normal.
Describing it as I like the way I described it as normal.
Yeah,
but
just normal.
yeah, but no, my stuff is all quite just
But that's the thing with we became friends with this lady. She's a mistress, and she, like, I think this is, well, I can't say there is no secret because a lot of people wouldn't know, but like she was saying how many high profile that you would call high profile. I think it's a shitty way to call someone. We're all humans, we're all the same. But you know, like people who hold very important positions and they're always the boss and they have a lot of power. And then they pay a lot of money, you know, like to crawl, to go on their knees, to get beat up. And then she was saying like, you would be surprised with how much money, she said, how much money I get to mistreat a lot of like politicians, high profile guys, you know, like very, so it's again, is the thing with the oppression, right? You suppress people, you make it not a cool thing to talk about, and then that starts to consume humans, and then they find all these alternative ways, to you know, to go underground and get beat up by a lady.
it's an experience. It becomes an experience.
Becomes an experience, yeah. So again, that's one of the reasons why we're having this chat, you know, because I believe, this is just my belief, you know, like that's if we normalize the conversations, we can approach them better, you know, like, and I'm talking about everything, man, like substances, you know, like sex, behavior, the masculinity, you know, like sexuality, what does it mean to be a tough guy, you know, like you never cry, like, man, that will kill you, you know, like to hold your feelings or that, you know, like, so.
That's a big thing in New Zealand, eh?
Yeah.
You tell me, is it?
Well, I've
been here
guys
for
are
9
very.
years, man. You've been here for 33.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys are very bottled up in New Zealand, and they get looked at, and that's partly why my work has grown, like, you know, and you know, making so much money from this now is because, you know, people are like looking at me and they're like, whoa, there's this guy who's actually going out there just meeting girls, being himself, doing videos and like not caring about it. Because guys, like, normally what's acceptable in society is guys, you know, don't meet multiple women or don't do this or don't do that. And if you do, you know, society's going to frown upon you. So,
but you wait, cool topic there. Multiple women, whatever. That's because you're working. That's because you are making money out of it. But like, are you also in the opinion that like you up for open relationships and that kind of stuff? Are you like, do you keep relationships? I don't know how personal you want to go with this, but like, are you okay with having relationships while you're doing this, or you kind of like don't think it's possible?
that is a hard one. I guess if I was to kind of be in a relationship, it would probably be, I don't know, the goal would, I guess, have to be maybe bisexual.
Okay.
And comfortable. I don't know. Yeah, that is a very That is a hard one to answer. Yeah. I don't know if I really, from just past experiences, if I'm like interested in a girl, then I'll just lose interest in other girls. You know what I mean? And if I'm with a girl and I'm still interested in other girls, then I'm probably not that interested in the girl.
Right.
You know?
Wow. So you actually put a lot of emotions on your job. You know, because I did some research and I.
How much research have you done? Tell us.
What research did you do?
That brings me.
Thank you, God, for R18 restrictions.
I had one question for you.
Where I was going with this is like the porn actors that I was listening to and the porn actresses. They say we keep it extremely professional. We try not to bring emotions, but sometimes emotions arise because it is a moment of pleasure. It is a moment of actually enjoying it. And then I was reading this article that the guy said that there's the prize, that there's like a lot of high American prizes for pornography, and he says that like the ones who get prizes usually are the moments when the judges can see that the actors were actually enjoying it, not faking it.
Yeah,
you know, so they crossed the barrier from professionalism to actually enjoying what they're doing.
Yeah.
And that's when you get more emotions. So I'm just kind of analyzing what you said, because if you said, oh, I prefer not having a relationship to do my thing, well, it means that you're actually putting your emotion there, like, so you can get turned on, you know, and perform correctly, not just like, oh yeah, I'll take a pill.
This is a job.
Yeah, this is a job.
I don't take it. Yeah, no, I don't take it that seriously. You know, if I met the right girl, I'd be very open to having a relationship, and and just then ultimately seeing what she's comfortable with, or what we are both comfortable with, as far as the business is concerned. But I don't think I will throw the business aside. I would never delete my pages, even if I pursue something else. I'll never delete my pages. It's always going to be there, making me money.
The real businessman.
Yeah.
You said you wanted to ask us a question?
Oh yeah. How did you discover me?
Recommendations.
Oh.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. We ask people all the time. I'm working fucking 24 hours per day, man. Even when I'm sleeping, I wake up, I'm dreaming.
You're thinking about it, it's in your mind.
Dreaming. I was not thinking about you.
No, I mean, you're thinking
but
about
I might
the business.
be tonight. Depending how cool you are after this show.
That's all right. I'll give you a free pass.
Yeah. I'll put a tap down before I leave, mate.
And one for Taylor. Make that 2.
Make that 2. Make that 3. No.
I'll put a tarpaulin down before I leave, and I'll leave just to it.
Then recommendations, bro. So when people come to me in the streets, at the pub, whatever, supermarkets, and they say, good job, cool that you're doing with the show, bringing interesting people, different topics to the table. And if I see that it's legit, because it's very easy to say, oh, cool, you know, like, oh, cool is not actually feedback, you know, like some people actually engage. They say, I watched that show, I saw you talking to that guy, and then I'm like, who would you like to see? What would you like to see? You know, what kind of topic would you be happy with me saying? And then someone dropped the bombs. Someone was like, oh, you should talk to nzDan. It was like that.
Really?
I'm not even joking. Yeah.
Somebody that you know personally, without saying their name.
Can I say that it's from Matarangi?
Are they? Oh, it's
maybe.
Wait.
No, I'm joking. Maybe.
Matarangi,
Maybe.
Wonder who it is.
Matarangi,
Anyway.
where's
Where's
It's
Matarangi,
about
Christine? I'm going to use the
half an
toilet.
hour drive towards Coromandel, so it's a little beach town.
I've got followers all over.
Apparently so, yeah. Apparently so. So I wonder who it is. I wonder if he'll tell us afterwards. Do you know who it is, Taylor? No? Oh, I want to know who it is.
Yeah,
Oh, it's
no.
me, man.
It was you.
Nah.
Was it a no, I thought maybe it was somebody who knew in person, or it must have just been somebody dropping a
No, not just that, man. We always looking, because like Leo and I, we are not from New Zealand, right?
Yeah.
So the co-hosts, they do a lot of this part that is telling us people that are well known in New Zealand, or they were well known in New Zealand, so we can bring them, you know, like, and because we get reference from Brazilian podcasts, for example, you know, like that. It is a big scene in Brazil, podcasts, you know. Like
sorry, I didn't quite catch your pronunciation.
Oh, sorry.
Podcast.
the podcast,
yeah. That's a big.
It is a big thing in Brazil, you know.
Oh yeah,
like,
it's becoming a big thing all over the world now, and that's
and there, like, that is normal to bring someone who does porn. You know, like people
Yeah.
people doesn't even get with bad eyes because it is just a profession. It is, isn't it? It's like
Yeah, yeah.
it is a
yeah.
profession like any other
Yeah.
profession. So when people like we had this little thing here and people was like, oh, you shouldn't bring this guy because you're gonna bring porn and the kids is gonna see, you know, like we are bringing it to town, you know, like it's not here, you know, like we are bringing it to
They
town.
already well aware of it. They didn't need. They
Exactly.
didn't
Yeah,
need.
you got
NZ.
asked to come. That's
They didn't
it.
need-
People asked us,
Yeah.
you know, like
Did I say it was a woman? I didn't say.
No.
It was a woman. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was a woman.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I do have quite a number of young ladies following my work and even subscribing to me. But yeah, they're quite in the background. they don't want anybody to know. You know what I mean?
Do you have an age thing like for the actresses? Like, do you mind if it's someone a little bit younger, older? Would you go for
Obviously
any?
18 plus, but
Because if it's younger, there's a mature crowd, bro. So maybe.
Whoa. Hey,
Whoa.
There is a lot
Whoa.
of questions. If you could start, because one of the questions is actually exactly this one. So
Yeah.
Oh,
So there you go. I'll find it. But you,
how many questions are we getting?
yeah, I want to see how many questions you got up.
Anyway, but let's start with that. Do you have like a age
Hey,
group that you
that
like
you
to
prefer?
Personally,
refer to?
My preference is the younger ladies. But in saying that, the MILFs or the ladies with partners, they get quite a lot of sales. I would probably say just as much, if not more.
Right.
Yeah, and like I don't know. To me, that's a bit weird. But it's just like there's such a demand for for all ages. Yeah, huge demand, especially like the ladies. I guess you can say like up 30 plus.
Yep.
Yeah, huge demand.
Would you go for more of a? Is the word prostitution if someone wants to pay you to have sex with you? Is that
Oh,
what
yeah,
it is?
Yeah,
It is, right?
That is the word.
Do
Yeah.
people offer that or
Would you
ask
go for that? Have you got that offer before?
I have a number of times. Guys have
Wow.
paid
I didn't
me
see where that was
to
going.
massage and even have sex
Happy ending.
with their partner.
Oh, with their partner.
Oh.
Yeah, crazy,
Interesting.
right?
So sorry, the guys would pay for a massage on them,
No,
on the
on
guy,
the wives.
on the wife,
wives, yeah.
And what, they
Ah.
just sit and watch?
and they watch.
Or they...
Whoa, but here's the thing: like, not all. No, like much of the time. I mean, I haven't done that much because I haven't really been advertising that much. But
We might help you with that.
many times, man, it's just crazy how many guys are out there, married guys, or just guys with girlfriends who, and I even get these messages just through my social media as well, who would like another guy to have sex with their partner, and often it's the guys who want it, and the female partner would maybe either not be sure about it, or maybe they're not sure about it, but the guys that they really want their partner to kind of get into it.
Do you think they do it expecting to have that as well? So like, oh yeah, you should sleep with a man, and then so in the future they can do that with a woman.
Or is it more like they want to watch?
No,
Is
I
it a
think it's
watching
more just
thing?
like a fantasy for them. They just want
Interesting.
they just want to share their partner. Yeah. I mean, yeah, it is a big thing. I mean, yeah, it is, like a lot of people would be kind of listening to this, be like, oh my God, why would you do something like that? But
There's
it's a big
people out
thing.
there.
Whoa,
No.
yeah, it's a big thing.
Because that's the thing. If you say that, you become the people who judge you. Like, so it's not that unusual, I would say, bro. You're
Yeah.
right. I appreciate you saying that.
And something that I found to be very effective is that in those types of situations whereby it's like their first time, they would prefer me to just kind of like give the female partner a massage and then kind of get them into the zone that way. You know what I mean? I'm really good at massage, and usually that Because normally, like going,
why are you
normally,
advertising?
Why are you
man.
looking at me like that, man?
He's
Also, you cannot come here saying you don't want to do massage anymore and say that you are very
Yeah,
good in
really good at
massage.
it.
No, and looking in my eye. He's like, you know what, Leo? I'm very good
so
at
good
massage,
at it,
man. He took me to his van in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And now he's saying, God damn, Dan.
he asked to come to a bed. So we might just have I might just have a sale right here.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's usually kind of like they like the idea of me giving the female partner a massage, just kind of get her into it, get her, just kind of like break the ice kind of thing, you know what I mean?
Right.
So
Man, funny. I really believe that it is super possible, like my parents have been married for, I think, almost 40 years now, 30 something. I really believe that it's, wow, you found a partner, you're going to stick to that and you love each other. Fuck, man, kudos. Wow, so rare, because a lot of people stay together, but I cannot say most, but a lot of those people put up with each other. Okay, all good. So like when someone comes with this mindset of like, we love each other so much that I actually accept that you have desire and you have, wills that you would like to do something with someone else. If you are at that level of, allowing the other person to do that and being cool, I'm not here to say that it's right or wrong, but I think it's a very mature way of dealing with a relationship, because it's hard when you want to say something to your partner and you feel like you cannot, isn't it? Like I've been to relationships that I was like, should I tell her that? But I'm feeling it. And
should I tell her that I watch nzDan?
Should I tell her about my massage this afternoon?
Yeah. So, like the example you gave, for a lot of people will sound a bit like, ooh, but maybe we all have a little bit of that, like, and I've seen so many cool couples actually saying, oh, look at that girl, beautiful girl, or look at the guy, like sexy guy, and like talking to each other in a respectful way. Look, attractive people out there. Like that's what the world is all about, procreate, isn't it?
Yeah.
I guess.
I can appreciate everyone's
Yeah,
beauty.
you know what really annoys me is when guys are super worried about, guys looking at their girlfriends. So it's like such an insecure thing, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if their girlfriend's talking to some guy and they, it's like, if that was my girlfriend, I would just be like, hey, if she wants to talk to somebody and if she wants to walk away, let her walk away. If you
Not
can
worth
take her away,
keeping.
you can have her.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly the same.
Okay, so I'm gonna start with some comments, with some questions, because this is a cool chat, but I can feel it's a good time.
Can I have a brief look?
Oh man,
on the list?
it's pumping, bro.
Holy
It's going off. So
Can I just say,
I'm just gonna.
Whoa!
I'm gonna read some
Really?
of them, and then we can take our time and do it properly.
I wanted to switch off my phone and have a look.
So we got Blueberry Co-Memory Bud.
Yay! Hey, Chloe.
So Chloe, love everything you guys do. Love all the real chats. And then Wavo, ask him about public backlash or hate he has received. Thanks, Wavo.
Public backlash. Whoa, yeah. So on a lot of forums online, like I think I said at the start of the podcast or before we did the podcast, there's a lot of people spreading a lot of rumors out there about me, and then people will just kind of take that rumors as like I said, the gospel truth, and then just kind of like blow it way out of proportion and just really try to start getting people to kind of cancel me, like that whole cancel culture thing.
Oh, that's such a big thing at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah,
Cancel culture.
Yes, and that's, like I said, that's part of the reason why I'm coming on here. Just kind of like show people who I am, and that I'm not some crazy person that bites.
Yeah, man. And sometimes they want the attention.
But yeah, it's mostly online. It's mostly a lot of online rumors and crazy things that people are saying about me. But as far as like, going out in Auckland City, like I've only ever had positive experiences with people that have run into me. And for me, that was I was like, whoa, I didn't know this many people, like literally just in this town, who like walking around just to like follows my work online,
Yeah, I like that, man. Thank you.
Hopefully that answers the question.
think you did answer it. Spin-off business. How to make it big on OnlyFans.
Well,
I think
they've
that
got to.
person's asking for like,
It's a
Whoa.
business. It's a business person.
and I saw who was asking.
But it's they've really got to put their sample content out there and tag their sample content and drive traffic to their pay site. Yeah, but don't just, if you're gonna post your OnlyFans, I would say buy your. Here's a tip for anybody who's getting into adult content, or this is kind of applies to business in general. Any business out there really is buy your own website domain name. Like, you guys got ALTBAYS.nz, and then that domain name can link to whatever platform. So for example, if you have an OnlyFans, don't write your OnlyFans on your pictures or sample content that you put out there. Put your domain name, and then for example, if OnlyFans deletes you from the platform, because OnlyFans has ridiculous restrictions, or they may just delete people for whatever reason, then at least if you get a new page on another website, you can then just relink your domain name to your new page site. Yeah, that's just a little technical tip for people out there.
Here we go.
But
write it down.
throw out sample content on all the platforms.
So the next question has been answered. Would love to know how you vet potential partners for filming. We covered that. Chuck Norris. Maybe. Respect if it is Chuck Norris watching us. Shout out to Chuck. I would want to ask Dan what's the greatest lessons he's learned in his life that he would like to share to his followers. Wow.
It's deep.
That's deep, my man.
I
Whoa.
was going to say it. I'm not going to say it.
It might be some tips.
Do
for
they
the
want
guys.
to? Do they want to get more specific with the question?
I think as broad as you want to go, brother. You go, man. I'll get you another beer. What do you think?
A whiskey bottle, yeah.
Whoa.
I think, protect yourself, eh? Like, there's a lot of people, like, things can turn bad, eh? Relationships can turn really bad. Don't just trust everybody, because, there's been times where I've kind of like shot content, everybody's been cool with it, and then all of a sudden they want to turn it around, kind of like, say bad things about you, but for me, like I always get like the consent form. I get a picture of the girls with consent form. I get like, I even do audio recordings.
Yeah, just
so that nobody can kind of like go away.
Everything's covered.
Nobody can kind of go away and say, So you gotta ultimately you gotta keep yourself safe.
Yeah,
I guess that's one of the big lessons, because if something goes wrong, it will cost you a lot of money.
yeah. Have you ever been
Whoa.
like taken to like someone tried to take you to court over anything?
No,
Obviously,
because
I don't know if you're allowed to talk about that if you have.
no, I'm comfortable talking about it. It's Leo trying to get me drunk tonight.
What?
Yeah, I think he wants another show of the band.
God damn it. I don't even go by these rules anymore, man. I don't even drink anymore, but
I mean, hey, there's been people who've like kind of like people just blast things out there on social media. Like, yeah, we'll do this, or we'll do this to you. But it's like, nowadays I kind of like, well, I've been doing this for a long time. Is that every time I do a shoot with somebody, like I pack like screenshots of conversations of pretty much everything that has happened on that day, and then I file it away. As everybody who I've done something with, it goes into like, their own folder on my computer. And then so that in like 10 years time or 15 years time, when somebody tries to get out there and say something crazy about me, I can be like, oh, who's that person? Oh, okay, that person. I'll look through my files. Oh, there's the folder. This is everything that happened that day, and I don't even think they realize. A lot of people don't realize just how much records I keep.
Yeah.
It's like, it'll scare a lot of people if they see just how much, like even for yourself, like, you got to keep your contracts and stuff like that, or, transcripts or whatever. Yeah. So, I'm always protecting myself, especially in this business. It is a risky business, and that's why I really don't think we'll be seeing any other guys getting involved in this in New Zealand anytime soon.
You might have some competition after tonight, bro.
I would love I would love to see it. I would love to see other guys go about it, you know what I mean?
Here we go. So, there you go. I think you covered this, but it's just a very well written question. Blair, thank you so much. Probably from Fiji, watching us, I would say. Then there is big grey power movement in Whitianga. Great.
In what?
There is big grey power movement in Whitianga. Do you work with mature women, and would you be keen on doing a Fiti grey girls gone wild? I could introduce you to a few. Blair, you're a fucking legend, just by the record.
Fitzy.
Whitianga is where we are. So he's saying saying that there's a
mature audience.
He's talking about mature audience.
There's a huge down low scene in New Zealand, like, but because New Zealand is so conservative, it's so underground. You know, this is all underground, and I guess you can say I'm the first person that's kind of actually brought it. You know, just like that's really just put it out there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm open to like pretty much anything.
Oh
There you
yeah,
go.
that answers the question, eh, Blair?
I've got a van that can travel anywhere in New Zealand.
Is it
According
accessible?
to Blair, you're here. You're in the place.
Great.
If it makes money, it makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, so here we go. You speak about content, but not about contracted young women. Are there opportunities for young women to further themselves in related careers like self-management, skill development?
That's kind of the way like these pay sites are kind of like the pay sites have basically put it back into the hands of the individuals.
Yeah.
Because previously, before things like now, I hate saying before OnlyFans, but before like technology the way it is now with all these platforms, not just OnlyFans, it's like ManyVids, Fansly. Previously, I was using a website called Avian Stars. There's so many other platforms out there. Hey, Avian Stars. This is a website, or it was called Avian Stars. I use that platform instead of I've made way more money on other platforms than I have on OnlyFans. Like OnlyFans makes me such little money. I make way but what I was saying was that
because I think he's going more like from the perspective of like protecting these women, you know, because he also added, or are they simply a single use? Thanks, bye. Are your young women supported by a union and able to negotiate contracts, their value over their image? So like, I kind of understand where he's coming from of like, if you are aware of more protection for these women who are coming to do this work with you, because it is legal.
Want to elaborate on that a little bit? I don't quite understand the question very well. Like, what more protection? What do you mean more protection?
Support by EMA, support by a union, able to negotiate contracts. I think, Fabian, if you're still watching and want to did he? No. If you're watching and you wanna rephrase that, what I feel like it's I would be like, if someone gives me a contract.
So what he's saying is like, do you think in a way that these girls is gonna get together, make an union, and ask you for more money in case you get like super big, you know, like, and they see you become a multimillionaire? You know,
if I become a multimillionaire, it's because I've done videos with hundreds of girls, not because of their one particular video. Another thing is that if you go and you buy you buy something of Trade Me, a phone or whatever, and you realize that another shop has a better deal, or you decide you don't want that phone anymore, you can't just go and take the phone back and get all your money back for it. You know what I mean? Once the sale is done, it's done.
Fabian also asked a question that I wanted to ask: if the van is wheelchair accessible, because if you're gonna go for the mature,
wheelchair accessible.
I think he's making a joke about the mature crowd. So
is it a joke? I was about to say I'm probably not gonna go that far.
Even when Fabian, even when you write a joke,
like, I have done a massage with somebody that was
fantastic.
I had somebody who was in a wheelchair, who had to help get out of the wheelchair, and he had like a tube coming out of his stomach for some.
Oh, wow.
I don't know. He had like some. I don't know, man. And it was just like a light massage, and like I was accommodating of that, but in terms of adult content, no. Like I said before, I'm not gonna get into anything too kinky or too out of the norm. I'm gonna keep my content kind of the way it's been going.
Go. There's a comment. The girls get cold feet because New Zealand is such a small country. You can be recognized everywhere because nearly everyone is buying or has watched Dan's content. And then there's a cool question from Chloe. Obviously, porn is not for everyone. What do you think about the correlation between porn and young people's views of sex?
A correlation between porn and young people's views of sex.
Especially because I think nowadays not everybody, a lot of young people are getting educated on sex from
the
porn.
hub.
The hub.
Yeah.
So how do you see this correlation between the business, the porn, and also people getting introduced to it and creating their views on sex through porn?
I can't really comment on that because I don't really know how. I don't work in the community with, and like I said before, like I'm not necessarily qualified with working with people, like working with young people. I don't know what young people are going or what is happening, on the community level with young people.
And the hub is R18 as well. If kids are watching you, they probably wrong, isn't
That's
it?
right.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
right. Thanks,
yeah. I mean, it's pretty obvious. Like, I mean, it's kind of like saying if you play, and apparently there's been a lot of studies on this as well. Like they would say like violent video games makes people violent. Like shooting video games and things like that. Like it's the same thing. It's like, okay, people are playing video games, playing shoot 'em up video games, first person shooters, FPS is what they call it. Are they now going to go and pick up a gun and go and shoot up a school or whatever? Like, that was like a big argument back in the day. Don't play all these violent video games, but it's been proven, and nobody. There are so many hardcore gamers, never had the urge to go and shoot somebody up.
Do you want to comment on that? The thing with the views on sex and porn? I feel like maybe just a different perspective would be cool. Even if it's just personal, Christine.
Like, do I think that a lot of young people are confused to what sex is?
Yeah, because like
they've watched something.
Taylor brought a great topic, the great point to the table that these sites are R18.
Yes.
We know, though, I'm not saying as a certainty thing, but like we know that when you wanna access something, you find a way.
Yeah.
Right? I'm saying it because I was a child once. I was a teenager that was not supposed to be looking at things. Still, I was. So the reason why I ask you is maybe because you're young, so you remember when you were a teenager getting introduced to this material, and now you're a mother. So I think it's just like maybe just a comment. It doesn't have to be like an opinion or something.
I think like a lot of people have a very confused version of sex when they watch it before they actually start having it. So like you said, you do a lot of vanilla sex. A lot of people won't be looking that up. They would think hardcore, like Brazil, right? So a lot of young guys would think that's what they're supposed to do when they have sex. But, I don't know. It's just, it's all personal preference maybe. Yeah.
And there's...
I know, it's all, I don't know. I feel like it's, everyone knows what they like, and
we have a cool comment.
When you get odd, I don't know.
We got
it's
a
weird.
good one from Chloe. She's saying, Chloe Blueberry Memory Books. My opinion is that we have to educate our kids about porn and different sorts of porn, and that it's created to make money. Teach them to be critical of all the content they consume. That seems pretty reasonable, eh? Because that's the thing, it is out there. And when I was promoting your show, I made a point every time. I was like, some countries don't allow pornography. Some countries oppose the prostitution and pornography, which is not New Zealand case.
Yeah.
So one of the reasons why we are okay to do this, we are okay to talk to anyone, as I said, at any time. But we are happy to know that the law, it's pretty clear about being a prostitute if you want to, or create content.
But usually if you look at all the countries who ban pornography, they are usually not the best representation of human rights either.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, like look at places like Saudi Arabia or Dubai. You know, if you're homosexual there, you're gonna get jailed or killed, whatever, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, they don't ban porn. They don't even allow. Apparently, they don't even allow like sex before. You know, if couples aren't married, they don't even allow that. Like, you know, sexual intercourse, where there's consent, even if it's consensual and all that. So, and they'll obviously be banning pornography, but you know, doesn't necessarily mean that they're on the right track, because they got it so far off with all the other, you know, all the other laws as well.
Fair enough. I just want to read one more before we go back to our chat. What do you think the percentage is of women who remain happy versus end up regretting it? I think he's talking about the ones who accept to do content with you.
So it's actually not that big of a percentage. A lot of the girls who have regretted it have been very vocal about it.
Yep.
And it's like, seriously, I've done this, like...
Do they come to you first, or do they just start, like, social media drama? Or they come to you first and say, I'm not happy with the video I've done, can you delete it?
Yeah, they come to me.
They come to you first.
But what I was saying, as I was saying, was, like... I've got like 100 videos on the hub now, Pornhub. We're going to abbreviate it to just the hub.
The hub,
100 videos on there, plus, you know, my other channels. You know, I've done videos with a lot of different young ladies. And there's been a few who've kind of like, you know, become quite vocal about their... who've changed, like really changed their mind, you know what I mean? So if you look at the grand scheme, in the grand scheme of things, it's really still quite a small percentage.
Do you consume porn?
You know, people view me as this guy who's like super hypersexual, and people who's like meeting girls all the time, but it's actually like that is so far from it. Like I'm just this guy who's just comfortable throwing his stuff out there. I don't even watch porn that much, and I don't even talk to girls that much. Like everybody, like I kind of create this persona where you know, I really led people to believe I'm this guy who's kind of just got all these girls and stuff like that. But it's not even like that, you know. And I'm comfortable just saying it out here on the podcast and kind of just putting it out there. Like I hardly ever speak to girls, like young ladies. I hardly ever speak to them. Like I'm actually not like a sex crazed maniac. I mean, I spend most of my time playing games. I do a lot of gaming. I, you know, browse things. You know, I like to browse through YouTube a lot. I've done so much things outside of porn, but just because I've done porn, people assume that I'm just this porn crazed person. And yeah. So, you know, I'm nowhere near as much of a consumer. I'm nowhere near as interested in it as my consumers are.
Right. I like that you brought that up. There's even a politician in Brazil. Brazil is fun, eh? Politician in Brazil who made porn. You know, like
I want to go to Brazil, but I was so scared.
We're all going one day.
Yeah.
You scared?
I was not scared. I
Concerned.
couldn't be bothered learning Portuguese because I went to Colombia, right?
Oh yeah, here we go. Stories, awesome. How was Colombia?
You didn't know? You don't watch my content that much?
No.
Okay. Was it a content?
I didn't go that far on the content. No.
Yeah, so I spent some time learning Spanish and
cool.
And yeah, started becoming a lot easier to interact with the Spanish girls, the Latinas. Man, like in New Zealand, there isn't much of a demand for the Latinas, but I love them, eh? And I was like, you know, I got to get over to Brazil, but Brazil is so far away. And then I heard like, okay, so Brazil is like the only South American country, is it, that speaks Portuguese? And now I'm like, oh, fuck. Like, learning Spanish was hard enough. Now I still got to learn some Portuguese or whatever. But I don't know. Maybe one day I'll have all of the skills, and I'll make it. I will get over to Brazil.
How was
Translator.
Yeah, man.
Easy.
Yeah, man.
This is where you put into the team.
Yeah.
Let's talk business,
how you get
brother.
in the
Let's
team.
talk business, my
Yeah.
man. How was Colombia?
Colombia was good.
Yeah?
It was nowhere near as dangerous as New Zealand.
What? Whoa.
Yeah,
Okay.
I spent a couple of months over there, and then I came back to New Zealand, spent 1 month here, and then my home got burgled, and
Oh,
I
what
lost
the heck?
so much stuff. So, I think it's safer. You're more likely to get burgled here in New Zealand, or at least in Auckland, than you are over, in that part of the world.
As soon as you arrived, I asked you that question, and you were pretty blunt with not having the best time in Auckland. Like, what's happening to the city? Because you grew up there, right? Did you grow up in Auckland?
Yeah. Been there since I was 8 years old.
How are the changes? Were you born in New Zealand?
No, I was born in South Africa.
South Africa. There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. South Africa. I didn't know that. Forgot to ask you that question. I was picking up on the accents, but there you go. What are the main changes that you see in the big city in Auckland?
I actually don't go out much at all. So I spend a lot of time at home working on my computer. When I go out a lot, that's more when I travel, especially when I travel overseas. And I'm kind of just waiting for my pay, because a lot of my stuff got stolen in the burglary, so I'm waiting for all my documents and stuff to get back, renewing things, so I can go overseas again. That's why I'm still in New Zealand. But as far as in New Zealand, well, things are certainly getting more expensive, and in Auckland, sorry, things are certainly getting
here too, man.
I can imagine. Changes, any particular areas that you want to know changes?
Well, you mentioned violence, which for me was quite surprising, saying that you felt more secure in Colombia than in Brazil. I haven't been to Colombia, so I know what you mean.
Maybe I'm over exaggerating a little bit, or just saying it.
There,
but
that's cool.
Yeah, no, they did. Hey, they certainly. But hey, it's crazy. Like in those areas, in that side of the world, they've just got so much security. Like the homes are caged up, so they less likely to get burgled. Like here in New Zealand, theft is becoming such a big thing now, but nobody's prepared for it, because nobody's got cameras, nobody's got burgle fancy lock doors and locks, and nobody's got home security, so anything anybody can just go and get burgled.
But that's the thing, like that we bring up in this show, quite often, the social gap. When the social gap starts to stretch, violence and crime comes by like a byproduct, it's just what it is. Like you just said, things start to get more expensive, inflation, and sometimes just the talk gets people very anxious, and then you see that consumerism, which is killing us, by the way, consumerism gets so heightened, it's such a thing that you want to consume, but everything gets more expensive, and you forget that there's a lot of people from lower classes who think exactly like us. They want to consume the same. They want the pair of jeans, they want the phone, but for them, they're coming way behind with acquisition, with wealth for that. And then suddenly someone says, oh, there's a lot of crimes going on. I wonder why. How stupid are you? You cannot understand social gaps, sometimes people don't understand that. So that's cool, that you're saying what you said about Colombia, the houses are protected. Well, because for us in South America, it's a reality.
And you could get shot. Yeah. Somebody could have a gun in their house.
Man, crime is
you're not gonna nothing's gonna happen to you if you burgle somebody in Auckland.
Yeah, it's an everyday thing,
The cops
crimes
aren't gonna they aren't gonna really serve justice.
Yeah.
They're not gonna really punish you to the risk reward thing is that's what it comes down to, risk reward, right? There's big rewards in Auckland right now. There's big rewards for burglaries, theft, and the risk is pretty low.
I feel like that's true. The amount of ram raids and stuff that are on the news in There's so many. Yeah.
Because
And
people in that side of the world, they've actually got
Yeah.
they've got security systems, but then you've also got to worry about guns, and you could the burglars could get shot, or just things like that.
And there's the thing with social media also being a platform for that, right? Because people film what they're doing, the RAM rates and everything.
I've never seen it. I've never
Yeah?
seen it on things like TikTok, or where apparently it's been posted to.
Maybe I shouldn't say that because I only saw it on like on a TV article or something that said that the images were on TikTok. So I'm going from that perspective, but I'm actually not sure. But like people are talking about it at the time, right? And
Yeah.
yeah. So
People are looking for a quick way to make money, and I was looking for a quick way to make money, but instead of robbing people or selling drugs, I just said, no, I'll just sell some porn.
have some sex. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Do you find it challenging sometimes to be there, because as a man, as a porn actor, I guess there's that stigma that you gotta be hard, you gotta keep up, you gotta be there the whole time. Like, do you feel pressured for performing, let's say, or for making it happen?
I never fail to get the job done.
Oh,
There's never any
I
pressure
didn't
on me.
ask that, but it's good that you answered that.
Yeah.
But like, do you feel like you gotta be there, or like sometimes you gotta think a little bit?
So there's but I guess there is a big question that is asked about people who males who are involved in adult entertainment. How do you say how do you prepare yourselves for all these? But they are doing multiple shoots. Sometimes they're doing multiple shoots a day, where obviously I'm not getting that kind of workload, especially here in New Zealand. There's not a list of girls that I'm gonna I'll see Susie, Kate, Stephanie today, and then tomorrow I'll see you know what I mean.
Yeah. So you
yeah.
How often do you come up with content, or how often do you create the content?
How often do I create
Is it
content?
like you do a whole bunch of shooting one day and you just edit
So
it and
I go
release
through
it?
phases. I go through phases of doing a lot of content, meeting a lot of girls. Or I could go on like a trip and then meet a lot of potential, and then there's always going to be a lot of content to edit.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've been filming with like two different I've used like a phone, and then I'll have like my main camera, and then like I'll have to upload all that content to my computer, and then just try and match it up, and I'm over it. I'm over it now. To be honest, I don't like all the editing stuff. It's a lot to think about.
we
Yeah.
charge per hour, brother. I skipped one question, so I'm gonna go back to our audience and then we're gonna wrap it up. So this one is a good one. What kind of money is really made from channels like Pornhub? There is a lot of competing content, especially when there are other New Zealand porn channels with higher rank and following.
Well, the truth is, I've actually got the highest rank in New Zealand.
My man. Shit. Humble,
So I don't know. I would love to know who this person is, who they think has a higher rank than
But it's
me.
okay. But like, let's go for the question then. Like, how? What kind of money is really made from channels like Pornhub? So how does it work, man? Do they pay like views? Is it
Okay,
like
so you're
subscribers?
gonna get money for your views from Pornhub. Okay, so Pornhub will then because Pornhub runs their advertisements on your videos, and they'll pay that up. But that's the very small percentage of the amount of money that you're gonna make. Maybe I made a few $1,000s from that in the last year.
A few $1,000s.
From just from the monetization.
Like one video.
No. From just all the views on my Pornhub, right? From just the views, the money you get from the views.
Does he get
Where you're gonna
what,
get
like-
your money? Where you're gonna get most of your money is from guys from promoting your pay sites, your paywall pay sites. So what I do is once guys view my videos, they then see my website. Now, a website's like a landing page. So for those who don't know kind of like how landing pages and marketing works, it's kind of like it shows them like pictures, and it kind of persuades them to subscribe. So by the time they get to the end of the page, it's basically the only option is there to buy or subscribe, and then that leads them to my pay site, right? And that's basically where you're making most of your money, from your pay site. And a lot of money can be made. I'm making a 6-figure income easily, and I'm playing computer games like 6 hours a day.
Yeah.
There you go.
Just a humble brag.
Christine, would you
Yes.
like to add something to this? This has been a fun chat.
Yeah, it's
We're
been
learning.
very
We're learning stuff.
informative, I feel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you want to
No.
bring something up that you missed from the list? Your friends asked you to ask questions.
No, I think because they did jump on and ask a few, but no, I think everything was pretty much covered. Like from questions
there is
I
one
had,
more
like
question.
Did I
Well,
miss
there's
something?
more.
Would you like to read it to them?
It's just Chloe asking them.
Chloe has a lot of questions.
Chloe has a lot of
love it.
questions.
Chloe,
lot
Chloe,
of
Chloe, do you want to
questions.
start an only?
Maybe she has one.
Then,
yes, she does.
what are some of the funniest things that happened during the filming?
Boom. There you go. That's a good one.
The funniest things.
Some funny moments while filming.
Whoa.
It
Well,
might be so many that you cannot choose, eh?
I'm trying to think. I'm just like thinking now through all of my different shoots that I've done, my little videos. The funniest thing. I honestly cannot think of
Yeah.
right now. Cannot think of the funniest thing. Oh, there was one time where a subscriber, this guy who's been subscribed to me for a while, right? And guys are always, there's so many of these guys out there, and they're always like, can you please bring me onto the shoot? I want to fuck some girls. And I was like, okay, this guy, I brought this one guy on, and he helped pay 50% of what I was paying the girls. So then I got him. So he was basically, it was me and him in the video with 2 girls, and he just couldn't, like, it was just too much of a shock for him.
Stage
With,
fright.
yeah, stage fright. Yeah, with all like because I had like I've got like an 18-inch ring light in my van, and then I've got like I've got like the camera, and then like it's just being in the moment. You know what I mean? Like that's, and he, like so they were giving, like, he was standing over there, standing against the bed. He was standing over there, and I was standing over here, and they were these 2 white girls, fat ass white girls, I call them. No, that's the title of the video. that's the title of the video.
Yeah.
So if you subscribe to me and look for the fat ass
Look
white
for
girls,
it.
you'll be able to see that video.
You're good at selling your shit, man. Carry on.
Then, so they giving us a blowjob, and then he's getting stage fright, and then it comes to the end, the climax part. The money shot, they call it the money shot. That's how you finish your videos.
Don't Google it. You might get surprised.
Yeah.
Just wonder what it is.
So I finished. It was an epic money shot. We had like 2 different camera angles. Then I always these days I always replay my money shots from 2 different camera angles, but in slow motion again as well.
Wow.
So it's, you're getting some high quality. You're getting some high quality emotions and reactions in there. But then it was his turn, and he couldn't pull it off. Like, it was just too much for him. Like, obviously he had the potential to do it, but it was just in the moment. A lot of these guys who contact me, and they're like, I want to get involved in the business, but once they're in there and in the zone, they don't realize it's a lot to take in. There's a lot to take in, and being his first time, he couldn't quite finish, and that was a bit of a. Well, we kind of laughed about it once he left, because he had to make an excuse to kind of make a getaway. Yeah, he had to be somewhere apparently, but the girls thought that was amusing, and I was like, well, there, I lost the money shot. I lost some I lost some sales on that one.
That's good. Thanks,
Yeah.
Chloe. Thanks for the question, and thanks for answering, man.
Yeah.
We loved it. Wanna add something here, Papa?
No.
This has been fun, man. This has been
I've
good.
tried to keep this chat a little bit
Yeah.
PG, you know what I mean? I try not to
yeah.
kind of scare people a bit too much.
Man, don't worry.
Hopefully it's been okay.
We just opened the doors for you, so next time you
Yeah.
come, we can go a little bit more like midnight show, maybe. You know, we
Yeah,
can-
we'll for your hey, you could have like a side channel.
We're planning things, brother. Why do you think I called you here, man? Why do you-
Yeah.
This is like the test.
the
test run.
Yeah.
The pilot
Pilot to your
study. Yeah.
OnlyFans.
Hey.
Yeah.
Apparently, I had
Making
to
money.
subscribe to see your channel, so I think I'm there.
Did you subscribe?
Well, there was a Google account option, and then suddenly I was there. So,
No.
Like Google.
like you can subscribe to OnlyFans through Facebook or through Google or whatever, like any other platform. At least that's what came up for me. So I was like, okay, I will subscribe to OnlyFans, and I could see like it was funny because the first thing that came to me was like gardening, and I was like, oh, is
What?
that what people are up to in this chat? Was like this lady teaching techniques on like how to
Yeah.
garden,
I
you know?
don't advertise my OnlyFans like link anyway, but somehow people still find me there. Just because like I don't know, people are always searching me up over there. But I don't have much content on OnlyFans. I use other platforms where they allow the more hardcore stuff.
hardcore stuff, and we're not talking about music, my friends.
So yeah,
Dan, cool man.
thanks for having me on. It's been a good experience,
Yeah.
and
Thank you. And for our audience, see, no one lost any parts of their bodies, you know, like
Yeah.
I think we kept it at a cool level of chatting, getting to know what you're up to and opening possibilities for people to
I
have.
hope it opened a lot of people's minds who were very close-minded about our chat.
Yeah.
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 Well,
that was our mission, man.
I think everybody going forward. I'm sorry, if going forward, but I think everybody, even like all the listeners, they're gonna know they're gonna have a cousin or a daughter or a family. They're gonna have a family member who's getting into their own page, or so start setting up their own page, and you know, I think people could a lot of New Zealanders could learn a lot from me about how to kind of set up your pages right, because a lot of people get into it and they just do things wrong.
Yeah.
You know, they kind of but yeah, a lot of people are going to know somebody who's setting something up in the area.
There's a oh man, sorry. Taylor asked me to read something here. I wanted to make a comment. Can you clarify what your definition of a prostitute or hooker as well as a normal girl? Only because you said you pay the women you film, which is legal, which is a legal definition of sex work, hence prostitution. So does it classify as the same? As I wanted to make a comment. Can you clarify what your definition of a prostitute or hooker as well as a normal girl?
So, okay. A normal girl is basically a girl who doesn't do this often, really. I mean, that's ultimately it. I mean, you know, normal girls are still... I mean, girls who do this, who's maybe done it 4 times, 5 times, I would still consider them to be a normal girl. I mean, the girls who are like, I guess you can say prostitutes or escorts or whatever they want to call themselves, are the girls who are doing this regularly and, you know, over extended period of time. The girls who've got advertisements up on these websites to advertise these services, those are like, you know, the prostitutes. So when I say normal girls, I mean girls who aren't like actively advertising themselves out there, who are doing this so infrequently. Yeah, I'll just say. But then again, you know, there's a lot of girls who just need to make some money. You know what I mean? They do it frequently, maybe a few times a week. I don't know, whatever that may be.
That answers the question, my man. We got some good on you, Dan, for being brave enough to put your work out there, Craig. And the Busy Movement says was a good interview, ALTBAYS. So shout out, thank you so much for the people who stuck with us until the end, bro. Once again, thank you so much. That's why we're doing this. You know, like we're bringing different people from different backgrounds, different perspectives in life, with different
And you're the
life stories.
first, and I think you're becoming one of the first to do it. So you're leading the way.
Man,
You're leading the way with that.
You know, we had a, I won't say tough week because we don't miss our sleep because of stupid people, but like
What do you mean?
Like we had comments that were not.
So how many?
I would
How many
say
different people?
not many,
have
bro.
raised
Not many.
it?
Less than a handful for sure. But like that's the thing. I respect them because that's my job here.
Yeah.
You know, like I brought a few people who I didn't agree with one single word that they said. Still, I sat down, you know, I created a good environment for them to come and chat. I asked the questions that I wanted to know the answers. I respected the ones that they didn't want to
You
talk
mean
about.
a person that you were doing a podcast with?
Yeah, guests. You know, like, because as I said, like, I like to be challenged. You know, I like when people come from a perspective that is not mine, you know, but it doesn't mean that I'm right or they are right. You know, it's just an opportunity to see what people are up to, you know. And then when someone comes in a ranting or telling me what to do on my own platform, you know, like you kind of feel a bit like, what? You know, like what's going on? So it was a way to connect, you know, when you started saying, oh, I get backlash, you know, like I get people telling me shit or whatever. And you're like, that's not good for a human, you know, like no one deserves this kind of treatment, you know, like you're not a criminal. You're not, you know, doing things that are going against whatever people say that is wrong or whatever. So I appreciate that you came to have the chat, you know, like, and we're going to keep doing this, you know, like we're going to keep bringing different people with different opinions because that's what a society should be, you know, established.
Yes.
You know, like you listen to people, oh, you agree, you disagree, it's all good, carry on, do your thing, you know. I like to think about the big picture, you know, like the majority, you know, like people had the guts to say, oh, you work at this school, what are you doing? I was like, wow, you know, like, so that goes completely against the thing of teaching critical thinking. When you are at the school, you know, like because I don't interact with a lot of children. I teach the drums and I work in the office. But I have these opportunities to have conversations, and I see that a lot of kids, like, they have this sharpness, you know, they have this thing of like questioning things. And I'm like, this is probably the best thing you could be doing, you know, like you questioning, you're not taking it, you know, like you observing things, you know, like, so I have to be an example for that, you know. It doesn't mean that I agree with everything you said, or, you know, but like, but I'm having a conversation, I'm listening, you know, and then if I have to say something about this, I will, you know, but like the ability to listen to someone and come up with your own, you know, thoughts. I think it's a universal right. So I appreciate everybody who watched the show, sent a question, and the people who are supporting us. And I hope you get something out of this. I think you shouldn't expect it because that's what a good attitude means. You know, you're doing this because you want to do it. But yeah, I that was my thing. I'm like, cool guy, you know, showed up, came here in the afternoon, we had a chat, you know, like, and I hope people get to see this image because imagine how many other ones out there we give shit without even know what they're up to. You know, so.
It was good.
Drop the mic.
Man, just to finish off, I like your setup. I like what you've done with this podcast. Like, you know, I was really impressed when I looked online. When you first made contact with me, you know, I was like, whoa, this guy's got a really professional setup because it's something that I look into a lot. I look into, you know, little different things. I mean, it's kind of hard to get to kind of like, you know, if you have too much lights, if you're doing a shoot with girls, it's can kind of like kill the mood or whatever. But I still look into all of these little content creator things, and I can appreciate and fully respect what you've achieved.
Thanks, my man. Let's finish this.
Thank you very much.
Stay there, don't go. Let's talk business.
No, I was just gonna finish. Do
that. Let's talk business now and get my massage.
Yes.
Hey, thank you so much. We're live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday.
Taylor joining? Is Taylor
Yeah.
joining in for the as well?
So he
You're
will
probably gonna have to pay me for that, man.
so he will massage my feet and you do the rest. Hey, we're live every Christine is like, what the fuck am I doing here?
Oh my god.
We're live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 7 p.m. Next week is another banger, man. Stay tuned because we're gonna put the links and the post on the weekend for amazing guests that we have next week. August is pumping. We have a lot of cool people coming up, and I won't even talk about September. Like we're heading to our show number 100.
Ooh,
That's a
100.
lot.
It's a lot, say,
It
bro.
is a lot.
And it's only getting better. So the bro is gonna take a picture while we're live. Now is the time, bro. Do it.
I gotta get Taylor.
Get
You
Papa.
gotta get
Come
in
on,
there.
Papa. Yeah, man.
There we go.
I'll see you guys on Monday. Peace.